Last match of losers semis here. Wait. Oh, never mind. Been building up from this 1-8 stack. Really high up. But PC0 couldn't find the pressure, not yet. Having to break their surge there. But bad. Really precarious. Fortunately couldn't find a survival. And relying on that PSS opener, but PC0 having to awkwardly stack their LST into 7-2 stacking. Utilizing a few all spin to try and continue their stack and build a bit more surge. But Ben finding that down stack, only sending more cleans over at PC0 board. Still finding more down stacks here on BENNXT's side. Still PC0 still surviving. Even after all those pressure. Ben unable to build back-to-backs there. Still pushing up PC0, but fortunately not enough to top them out. And as I said it, found enough pressure to top PC0 out. 1-1. And building from that SDPC opening bag, only getting the first TSS out, trying to pressure using freestyle. PC0 caught up with this, I think, greed there, but still finding some survival. Bursting quite quickly there, trying to make sure they stack all of those in for trying to downstack. But Ben still pressuring, still keeping up these attacks. Finding a few floats, but having to break their back-to-back there. PC0 trying to Z-spin that piece in. And Ben only sending more pressure. Leveraging that Z-spin. The Z-spin misdrop. Once more, PC0 utilizing the LST, but this nearly overcommitting. But cancelled each other out there. And unfortunately misdropping that S-piece. And Ben finding that attack in time. The quad. Probably noticing that PC0 misdrops as well. Building up based on this SDPC bag once more. Finding a down stack, but PC0 unfazed, managing to cancel everything, but not the attacks afterwards. Fortunately having to use their surge to defend there. Not only that, even losing that round. Overstacking slightly. Ben saying in the chat, I'm SDPC god. PC0 attached to this LSD stacking. Shifting to 7-2 stack. Finding continuation for their back-to-back. Still finding that donation as well, but unfortunately having to break their surge because of too much pressure coming from BENNXT. And finding that S-spin kick in. Even finding that STSD, but unfortunately couldn't get the second T. Still finding more pressure. PC0 slowing down slightly, even getting outsped by BENNXT here. Only slightly. But they're much more efficient, going over 1 APP. 2 to 4. CO starting off with more LSC here, and Ben building up this float. PCO building up from this post LSD pressure. Breaking their surge there. Misdropping a few Ps, but greeding for that T-spin. Is it worth it? Wasn't even great. It was a quick defense. Ben is building up this really fast pressure, getting a fractal in. Fractal into quad even. Into TST. Pushing PCO not only on top of their board, but sending them to the moon. PCO starting with that DT opener. Ben having a bunch of clean on their board. Unfazed at all, even continuing to build their pressure. Having another T-spin ready on Ben's side. And PCO breaking their surge, trying to catch Ben off guard. Fortunately, Ben is ready. Even amidst all their bad board shenanigans. Was only complicated spin setup. Building up that greedy C-spin really on top, really high on top of their board on Ben's side. Now Ben in the back-to-back deficit. Trying to find more survivals here. Taking that single, trying to build the quad, but fortunately covering their well. RNG wasn't so kind to Ben in that round. PCO building this fast LST once more. Ben is ready. PCO bailing out. Having to deal, even getting that donation in on PCO's side. Continuing on this 7-2 stacking. Now back to LST, but having to bail out of it into a JZT stacking. Breaking their surge there. Catching Ben off guard. PCO getting that early fractal, but unfortunately not at once. Still building on from this. Getting a prophecy attack there. PCO side. Chick ban off guard. Now they're neck and neck. Then finding this all clear and still having that back-to-back. Trying to continue building their back-to-back here on Ben's side. But PCO unfortunately probably misdropping a few Ps there. Couldn't find a way out. And Ben taking the lead once more. PCO building this 4 wide. Couldn't spin that Z in. Ben building up pressure really quickly, trying to counter that 4 wide. Trying to avoid permanent damage there. Managing to pressure them as well. Holding the lead. Been building up on this 6-3. Fortunately, PC0 getting PCs. Managed to get Ben off guard. Trying to drag on there on Ben's side. Ben getting this middle of the board DT. Even having the RNG and stacks right on that really good spot. The middle of their board. Building up this fractal into a floating. Oh, spinning that. I assume it was LP's in. Fortunately, not enough pressure to top out PC0. PC0 misdropping a few Ps. Not in a bad spot because of that really good downstack over in PC0's side. PC0 building up their surge, trying to counter Ben's slowly rising surge as well. Having to break early there, unfortunately on PC0 side, still. Ben finally breaking that surge, sending 27 lines, but PC0 still finds survival, but only barely. Because there was much more pressure coming from Ben afterwards there. 6-8. Ben building up that fractal on top of a few awkward spot there. Fractal turned into donation, I guess, but still neither player is in excellent spot. Ben finding that quad, trying to find pressure as well, trying to build up their efficiency, but PC0's in a relatively good position, getting that color clear, choosing to get it. Oh, PC0 timing that surge break, but Ben had a cancel in time. Having to break their surge as well there. Finding this combo downstack on Ben's side, but PC0 having so much clean on their board, misdropping the LPs, building up STSD. Fortunately, Ben building up so much damage as well. That STSD attack turned into a defense. But Ben, all his misdrops, fortunately couldn't find more pressure. Instead, getting pressured out. And finding this early game spikes. PC0 trying to find survival here. Finding a survival in time, but still getting caught in a bad spot. Having to use their downstack. Sending a few cheese on BENNXT's side. Slowly. CO finding the after pressure, but Ben still survived. Still finding this really quick defenses, but fortunately misdropping that eyepiece there. Getting topped out neck and neck once more. On Ben building up on this 5-4 stack. PC0 misdropping their SPs. Not getting the quad there, fortunately, but still finding a way out. Having to use a few of their attacks as defenses there. They're really high up on PC0 side, but trying to eye spin that in, but unfortunately Golden still finding a way out afterwards though. Yo, finding that combo down stack, sending a bunch of cheese over to Ben's side. Ben having to deal with a bit of cheese after down stacking that quad. Building up this TSD. PC0 is not letting off. Trying to slowly pressure Ben as well. PC0 having to bail out of that, breaking their surge, but Ben is caught up in a bad position. Misdropping that T, unfortunately couldn't spin it away to the designated location. PC0 finally taking the lead. Both players finding that early game pressure and it cancelled out each other. PC0 having to break surge first. Ben caught up in a bad position, also had to break their surge. Still, Ben wasn't able to build up their back-to-back there. But alas, still finding a clean stack afterwards. CO caught in a slightly awkward position. This 2-7 stack is fortunately not optimal, not at this time. Building up on that 6-3 into another 2-7 stack, but only to down stack. CO sending a few cheese over Ben's board, but still Ben is relatively clean despite all the cheese and even getting that STSD out. PC0 being pressured, finding that TSD, using it as a defense just in time. Now, bad greedy. Unfortunately, couldn't manage to build that TST, I assume, but still finding a way out. PC0 still trying to pressure. Currently in a relatively good position, but unfortunately getting pressured by Ben. Overstacking over at their well there on PC0 side. PC0 opening with LST once more. BENNXT using a different route. PKI still in a relatively safe position. Taking that Trinity on BENNXT's side. Oh, sneaking one more spin there, trying to add up to their back-to-back, but unfortunately, PC0 finds pressure afterwards. Bad bounce back on PC0. Will PC0 take this match? PC0 finding the fractal there, and Ben timing their attacks. PC0 caught in an awkward spot. Not only having to break their surge, but fortunately not enough to defend themselves as well. We're on the tiebreaker. I assume the first tiebreaker among the top 8. So building up the fast attacks, but Ben is ready for all of them. Taking a few all spins in, trying to build their surge. PC0 slowing down, trying to time their attack as well. Suddenly PC0 really high up on their board, breaking that surge, trying to survive. But Ben building more of this pressure, getting double TSD into a TSD, breaking their surge finally, but fortunately Not a not in the best position to break there as well. GG's to both players. PC0 taking the tiebreaker.